Welcome to the Operations Management Framework. In this video, we will be looking at the second quadrant, Operations Design, dealing with Service Charter. Service Charter. The Service Charter, which is a statement of public service commitment, is a component of the performance management system that sets out the government institution's commitment to providing services at specified levels in order to effect strategic developmental outcomes within the constraints of available resources. A service charter is a public document that sets out the standards of service that service beneficiaries can expect from a government institution, as well as complaints mechanisms. A service charter is a publicized service standard. Service Charter ensures that government institutions focus on service beneficiaries, manage the expectations of service beneficiaries, measure and assess performance of institution. If the institution is underperforming, then initiate service delivery improvement. Having a service delivery charter will have an immediate threefold benefit in that it will reinforce the institution or the component's commitment to service delivery improvement for all end users, help the institution rise to the challenge of treating citizens as service beneficiaries and meeting their demands equitably and fairly, and enhance communication with service beneficiaries. The Service Charter should contain the following elements for it to be considered as a good charter. Service standards. A list of services together with commitments on the level and quality of service to which beneficiaries are entitled. Information. Clarity about who is eligible, when and where the service is available, and any prerequisites. Redress. Redress to expect in case the service falls short of the promised standards. The objectives of developing a service charter are many. However, in the main, the purpose of such a charter is to express a commitment to service delivery, in which published standards of service delivery are maintained. The treatment of all end users as service beneficiaries is encouraged. Service beneficiaries' rights are protected. Relationships with service beneficiaries are enhanced. And finally, the transformation of the public service from a rules-bound bureaucracy to a results-driven institution is accelerated. Let's look at the 5 phases to consider when developing a service charter. Phase 1. Preparation phase. Here, you obtain buy-in to obtain understanding, support and funding for developing a service charter. Then develop institutional guidelines, clearly indicating the rationale and objectives of the service charter, its intended achievements and benefits. Lastly, appoint a champion to run with the development of the service charter within the institution. Phase 2. Design phase. In this phase, there are 7 steps to follow. Step 1. Who are we? The answer will take the form of, we are the department of. Step 2. Where can we be found? All the physical locations of the institution where services are delivered to end users must be identified and listed. In addition, telephone and fax numbers must be provided for each location, as well as email addresses if applicable. Step 3. List all services and products. It is necessary here to list all the services provided by the institution and then to specify which services are available at each location. In addition, full information must be provided on what the service beneficiaries need to do or take with them in order to access the services. For example, ID documents, birth certificates, photographs, medical histories, educational qualifications and certificates, etc. Step 4. Our service standards. Having established realistic and relevant service standards, Through the focus groups, each service should be listed with the standards applicable to this particular service. The standards may be introduced with the following statement: we have set the following minimum standards for the level and quality of the services we provide. Step 5. How we will deal with queries and complaints. Here, service beneficiaries will be reassured about their rights by committing your institution to redress procedures and courteous assistance. If your institution has set up a complaints or help desk, this must be clearly stated with full particulars and an explanation on how to access the service, with full details including the names of staff in attendance. Step 6. Your rights. Here you must list the service beneficiary's rights. We suggest the following. You have the right to all the Batupili principles, especially the following: courteous behavior at all times, full information, prompt and efficient service, redress and an apology for lapses in our service. And finally, step 7. Your obligations. While it is critically important that the service charter should spell out the rights of service beneficiaries, they need to be reminded that service delivery is a two-way street. There are certain obligations that have to be met. For example, you may wish to remind them that they too need to be courteous and civil and respect the dignity of officials they encounter. Now that all the steps in phase 2 have been completed, the next phase is the consulting phase. Get buy-in and commitment. It is important to involve all staff members in the development of a service charter in order to get their understanding as well as their commitment with regards to the service standards listed and publicized on the service charter. Phase 4. Publish phase. Once completed and approved, it should be published and distributed widely. It must be distributed to service beneficiaries and displayed within the institution's service points. A service charter can be published using posters, Z-cards and brochures. Phase 5. Review phase. Review the charter to ensure that it is still relevant and still addresses the services that a government institution is providing. It is crucial to review the service charter annually to ensure that it is still within current mandates. In cases where the institution's mandates have changed, such changes must be reflected on the service charter. In conclusion, a service charter is an important tool whereby institutions can inform beneficiaries of services rendered, as well as the institution's commitment to specific service standards. For more information on developing a service charter, please refer to the Operations Management Framework available on the following link. And that concludes Quadrant 2 of the Operations Management Framework.